So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for taking the time to watch this either live or on replay. We're live with Alfie Best here at Wildcrest head office in Grace. For those of you that have not met Alfie before, Alfie is a very successful businessman in the property sector. He owns a company which is called Wildcrest Parks, operating some 75 parks in the UK. 5 parks in the USA. They're Europe's largest park home operator, and also he has property interests in the UK, USA, Europe, and Barbados. He's listed in the Sunday Times Rich List as one of the UK's richest men, and pretty much actually is a down-to-earth guy. Every day this week and for the coming weeks, Monday to Friday, we've created a free coronavirus business support opportunity for anyone that's in business, and specifically aimed around people in the property sector. Now, we're going live on Facebook today, and Alfie is going to talk to you in just 1 second about entrepreneurship, about businesses, and how we can survive during this most testing time. So Alfie's going to be talking about the aspects of survival, what we can do, how we stay calm, and what we can do. Now, for Alfie to take his time to be online, please do, if you can, like and share this broadcast, because the nuggets you're going to get from Alfie now, you can really stand on these, and it should help you to make an impact in your life and where you stand. For registration for our daily live support, go to alfiebestpropertygrowth.com/coronavirus, and I'm going to paste the details in the thread in just 1 second, where you can go and where you can get the details. It is posted in the live video, but for now, ladies and gentlemen, Alfie Best is here to talk to you about coronavirus, the effects in the UK, business, how we're feeling. Alfie, thanks for coming on today again and taking your time. Everybody's panicking, Alfie.
Well, what I would say to you is, listen, please don't panic. Nobody should panic. What is, and we have to deal with the situation that we have. Here at our head office, we've sent everybody home. We did that last week. We're having everybody work from home, and we're trying to carry on not as normal. We're carrying on as normal can be in the climate that we have. So that means we're trying to do everything normally in the climate we're giving, listening to the instructions that the government are giving. If you take, for instance, I'm sitting 1.5 meters away from Bradley, and that would be 2 meters. It's only that we're doing this broadcast together. Before I even did this broadcast, I made Bradley wipe himself down with a full sanitisation and gel, and I did exactly the same. So we're keeping everything to a complete minimum, and we're not even talking at each other. We're doing that with our staff, with our team, our businesses, our contractors. But I've seen a lot of people that have come to me and said, what do we do? The first thing, and I go back to what I said originally, is where your business is concerned, start a cash flow. The cash flow. In other words, you do an Excel spreadsheet of all the payments that you are fixed to have to pay. Then, beside them, who the people are that you need to contact. And all the way through. And this is a time where I can promise you this will be over. And I don't believe that this is going to be a long time. I don't. I think it's going to be a 3-month passage that we'll have, and it will then take a further 3 months to actually be able to bring our routines back. But that isn't going to be the problem. The problem is going to be the financial fallout that this is going to be. For some people, there is going to be massive opportunities, and I hope that there's going to be a lot of those people that are with me that are going to be able to reap the benefit of those. But for the moment, and with this in hand, we have to look at our own businesses, and we have to look at getting over this, because don't think for 1 minute this isn't going to affect every business. And that includes the likes of Tesco's and the shops where at the moment people are going there and, spending money like it's going out of fashion because they're stocking up. Because their stockpiles will run low. Their suppliers we'll be selling to people that are actually paying them in advance, as opposed to the 180 days credit that they're being used for. So this will have a complete knock-on effect on every business. And it's the people that don't give up, that actually realise we're in unprecedented times, and they act now. So, cash flow. For instance, I was at home over the weekend. What I did, and I consider myself as a reasonably wealthy person, I cleared everything out of the house that I didn't want. I cleared everything else around the house that I didn't want, and I instructed every one of the locations, and we've got over 120 different locations of properties, to get everything put on eBay that we didn't want. It actually gave me a time to start clearing out the stuff that was within our business, within my personal life, to generate cash anyway. So this is not just about looking at, hold on, we're sinking and screaming and throwing out there. This is about looking at the business and also looking at the people in your business. Because I've looked at the ones that have decided to they need time off, and they're actually not considering the business that's going to support them. They're all being looked at, and so should you, because it's the people that support the business that you should be supporting hearty, with a full heart. And all of my team, I've got to say, I'm very lucky, because most of them are actually working harder now because they realise the business is there for them. Would you say that's what's happened also in it?
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, as we always say, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. And there is a psychological and a mental condition to what's happening. So by listening to the news, psychologically, we can become affected, and that can dampen what we have to do, the necessary things we have to do to stay alive. And actually, we spoke last week about accelerating that energy, accelerating your thought process, and looking at some of the things that you should be ready for when you're coming out the other side. So managing what we've got now and preparing to move forward.
It's not only about managing what we have, it's about looking at what you don't have. In other words, what you don't need within your business. Get it put out there. Get it put on social media. Sell it. Get it gone. This is about clearing out shop while you have chance as well, personally and business-wise. If you've got any questions, please send them in. I'm here now. I want to answer them for you if they're regarding your business. And Murray, you're absolutely right. The 1.5 metres is really the minimum that it should be, but it's the best we can do under the screen. Should be 2 metres apart, and that's what we're instructing all of our team to be doing as well. So, Natalie, have you got any questions there with regard to your business as well?
So if you've got any questions online right now, and while we've got Alfie, put a post in the comment, and we'll get Alfie to answer some questions. One of the big questions that's been coming through is how people are being affected, and they're worrying about many of the companies being at home and not being able to actually work in the business and still staying connected. Now, I know that Alfie's got the team speaking on different online platforms, and they're connected in terms of communication as best they can. What else can companies do to make sure there is a good communication between the management?
I find one of the best ways of communicating for me is I've had all of my team set up a WhatsApp group for the whole company, so everybody can actually see what's going on, whether it's the sales, whether it's the appointments booking, whether it's the rent collection, whether it's the maintenance, everybody. And actually the communication has got even better than it was previously, but that's going to happen. We're gonna find good things here. We're going to find some good things out. We've just got to make ourselves fit enough, strong enough to make it happen. And I know that every one of us is filled with a little bit of fear. But come on, face those fears and rise. And that's what we're going to do. That's exactly what we're going to do.
So Luke's asking just a quick one on the event on the 11th of April due to the virus. Will the event still go ahead? So I can answer that one for you, Luke. So we've taken the decision this morning that it would be very unprofessional and unhealthy for us to have people in our building at the time of the heightened state of emergency with regard to coronavirus. So this is what we're doing. First of all, we are giving anybody that's registering for an event an option to watch online, and we will stream in the morning. We will be speaking about coronavirus and property, and we're pushing that out from today. Second to that, we're going to give every single person a second option to come back to another event once everything has settled down. And of course, we'll make sure that everybody's got as much access as they can to Alfie so that you can feel good, because everybody is going to be at home during this period. The one thing that we have got and can communicate on is what we're doing right now with the internet. So no, we're not going to have people coming down to the event on April the 11th. We must follow the health and safety guidelines of the government. We will be live streaming for that morning, and we will be repeating that event as soon as things settle down and we can have everybody back. We will have everybody back. And of course, on top of that, every day Alfie is offering free business support at 1 p.m. for anybody that wants to join us by registering at alfiebestpropertygrowth.com/coronavirus. But Luke, it is a great question because business must still go on, and what is utilise the best tools available we've got, whilst being protected with the health and safety aspects, and still look at our businesses, still look at our careers, because we cannot just lay down and give up. We must find ways to push forward.
Look, well, there's going to be some other events which will be put up as well, which are going to be, I think, dynamic, because you've got to think ahead. This morning, I've already been asked to sit on the board to help the E2E Society, which is the government entrepreneurial, which I've gladly accepted, want to be out there to help that. I've also last week was asked to sit on local government lobbyist for Cumbria, for the tourism, for grants. Again, all of this, none of this is going to stop. It's all going to go ahead. And the reason it's all going to go ahead, we've just got to find ways of making it happen, whether that be on Skype or social media platforms. But this will help us drive forward in those ways of not having to have face-to-face meetings. The other thing that we will be doing is we are going to come through this. All of us are going to come through of it. Some in not so good a place, others in a better place, and others it's going to be just the same. But there is one sure thing. This is going to be over. It will be over. Do not panic. The government there have set guidelines. Personally, I think they should have had it harder and stronger,
Quicker.
sooner, much quicker. Just like, to be fair, the Barbadian government have done. They've set down, if you fly into the country, you have a 14-day quarantine before you're allowed out in the island. That's exactly what should have happened here in the UK. We have an island. All flights coming in, bang, should have stopped them, had to go into quarantine. We would have shut this virus down quicker than what we would have thought. We are going to be doing another course which is about how we benefit and profit from this downturn, and we will, and that is coming. And I want a lot of people to come along with me, because there is going to be some big, massive benefits out there that are just going to be unprecedented. If you remember in the previous property training courses, I said, when is something cheap? It's when you can't build it for the money it costs to build. In other words, forget about what it costs to buy something. It's about what it costs to build. And there's going to be some of those coming massively. Not some, massive amounts.
There's a great question there. I mean, and please do keep the questions coming forward while we've got Alfie. Please utilise this time. Any questions you've got? A great one there from Pete Burns. Alfie, where do you think the caravan industry will go?
Honest answer, I think it's going to absolutely shine, and I think it's going to explode. And this is the reason why. People will still want to downsize, and they're going to want to downsize even more. You know, people are going to upgrade their standard of living without it actually physically costing them. We're already getting calls from people now, are we still doing part exchange? Can you believe that? Actually now contacting us because they're concerned they're not going to be able to sell their house. Answer to that is yes. If you then talk about the caravan industry, there's going to be more and more people that are going to want a holiday here in the UK because they're still going to be of the mindset with regard to the coronavirus. They're going to want to feel safe, and that's going to be where the parks have to sanitise after this and show that they're a real virus-free park that have taken it seriously all the way along. And you're going to see a lot of people that want instant holidays. That I think the caravan park is setting the industry to actually drive forward massively, but we have to put ourselves in that position to do it.
You know, there's a real interest in trying to fault. The last recession we had, like 2008, properties crashed. A lot of people lost a lot of money on their pensions, so the valuation of their pension was standing at X. When the crash happened, the pensions had a massive hit. As they then approached their retirement, their golden nest fund had been depreciated massively, some by 45%. So they come into retirement, they've worked all their lives, now they've got a much lower amount of money. This time round, a lot of people are thinking about their retirement funds, and actually they want to best place not just themselves for quality of life, but they also want to help their children as well.
Look, the reason that I've never invested in stocks and shares as such is because there's one thing in this country, definitely, they cannot build any more property. They can't make any more land. And it's one of the sure things that goes down but comes up every time. And it's one of the few things that you own, physically own, that's yours, that will continue to pay you, even in the times when things are down. Now look, even the government have stepped in here and said they're going to help people with their mortgages. They're going to help people with their salaries. You know, the government have done some real strong. They've stated some strong words, stated in some strong sectors. That's, you know, I want to see them actually deliver, because statements are good, but let's see some delivery of this. But apart from that, I've got to say, you know, 10 out of 10 to this government for stepping forward and making the statements now. For that, you know, 100%.
And Natalie's coming in and asking about property, and this is the thing we'll be going through with the Alfie Best mentoring program. We have a mentoring program. We meet every Thursday night. We talk purely about property. I know today's broadcast is not about the mentoring program, but actually Natalie is one of our members in the mentoring program for Alfie Best Property Growth. And on Thursdays we talk all about property, residential, commercial property, park homes. We talk about all types of property investment. Natalie's just asked the question, you know, the property market, where's it going to go now, and where can we find deals? And this is one of the things that we discuss in training, but there's going to be so many deals available, right?
Okay, let me say this to you. Property, and there is no question, it is going to go down. We will have a financial meltdown. At what type of scale, I don't know. But as sure as God made little eggs, that will happen. We will have a financial meltdown. I think the government has done the right thing from what they've stepped in. And I want to answer the question what Natalie has just said. What type of property? Can you take that back up, Brad? Yeah, I want to read the question. What type of properties would I recommend looking for? Again, that's based on the individual of what you understand. You know, if you're into HMOs, don't go looking for shops. If you're actually into shops and commercial property, don't go looking for HMOs. There is going to be a glut coming forward, and this is not a time to be negative. This is a time to be brave. If any of you read my social media, Twitter, Instagram, you will see at the bottom, it says, I run scared when everybody else is brave, and I'm brave when everybody else is running scared. That's because at times now is when you need to be brave, when everybody else is running scared. And trust me, it will reap rewards like you've never seen.
So there's a psychological aspect, and you know you are the dad to so many people. You're the head. The buck stops with you essentially. You've got a fabulous team. So how have you managed everything personally? Because for me, you've got challenges, but you manage to ring everybody every single day. You speak to your whole team. You call me. You call everyone within your team, and you speak to them. You have to keep everybody calm and organised. How do you do it?
When I get in the car, it is important that everybody realises we're singing from the same hymn sheet. So I make a point of ringing the heads of every department, as well as the MDs. But they're the first people that I ring. My MD and my FD and my estates director are the first people that I ring. So I know that the same message is being vocalised out there to the whole of my team. We have 450 people that work within our company, and I pretty know every single one of them. I make a point of going to the sites, seeing what they're doing, and letting them know that I'm prepared to muck in and work with them as well. Over the weekend, we had people out in viaduct waterways, clearing them. We had electrical challenges because we want to show that this company cares for its residents, cares for the service that it puts out there. You know, we don't get it right all the time, but you know something? We get it right 85% of the time. And that's all I'm interested in doing. Because if I'm getting it right a majority of the time, it means I'm getting it right most of the time.
Absolutely. John, I was talking to one of our Academy members last week, and I was saying to this particular person, when business is quite rich, sometimes you can buy a lot of stuff that you don't actually need. And it's in times of desperation, times of financial troubles, that you realise there's a lot of spare resource hanging around your business that you don't need, that you need to sell, get rid of, and get that money back in, because cash is king right now. Your cash is important. So what should companies be thinking about to cut back as much as they can, raise as much capital as they can to get themselves cash?
I go back to what I said earlier about preparing a cash flow, and I don't want to go back over what I said, but the cash flow is key. But underneath that, you need to have an asset register, and that could be down to spare lawnmowers that are not being used. One man's junk is another man's treasure. You know, and we have loads of platforms out there that we can sell items that we don't require, and that's personal and in our businesses. You know, this is a time to reflect and actually get out there the stuff that you don't need, you're not using, and clear up. Just got another question come in. Let me read through it if I can. Okay, yeah, let me answer that. In small businesses where there are only two people that are working there, even more so that you sit down and bang your heads together 2 meters apart, you bang your heads together to look at the things that you need to do to make that business work in these times. For instance, I've just bought one of the UK's largest motorhome hire companies, which we're in the process of saving. Just gone into administration and we've bought it out. There's a challenge that couldn't have come at the worst time. What have we done? We're now hiring out those homes as second bedrooms to people that feel they've got a corona virus and they want to isolate somebody within the family within a spare room, so they're hiring the vehicles to put on their driveways. It's about finding a solution to the problem, and there is always a solution, so don't let anybody tell you any different or talk it down. We're still half full, remember that. This will be over, no doubt about it, and we must come out the other side stronger. And we will. We all will. Don't worry about anybody, we all will. We just need to find a way that helps with that business. That's all.
There's a lot of people that own companies where their revenue has just gone zero. They're zeroed out. There's not a dime coming through the door. and they may not have enough resilience within their cash reserves to survive. And at the moment, their business, their relationship at home is just in absolute turmoil. Now, I was thinking at the weekend that there are different companies that could do different things with their assets. So, for example, I was thinking about a van hire company. They've got all these vans sitting there, no one's hiring them. So could he turn that van hire business into a van delivery support for a supermarket? People can make certain assets available to utilise.
If you take, for instance, a hire company, and we're just throwing out solutions out there. If you take a van hire company and people are not hiring vehicles, the first people that hire company should be contacting is, can they do self-drive hire for the people that are doing food deliveries now? I've already had a researcher for HR company contact me and ask me, have we got any food outlets that would be prepared to make menus up, because they've got delivery companies that want to deliver the food, and we've put them in touch with a number of our tenants around the country, and that has helped their business. So there is always a solution. Don't think just because what you do within that business is what you are confined to in times of need. Look, we've got car companies now. We've got JCB, one of the biggest and best, proudest manufacturers for us for machinery in the UK, but yet they've turned their hand to making, I think it's defibrillators, for the UK. So they've got the engineers. It just shows how resourceful we can be when we need to be. We've got a number of questions coming through. Please keep these questions coming that refer to your business.
This is a really cracking young lad. His name is Luke Grundy. And Luke is asking about the best way to get started in a property business. He's a young lad. Now, Luke, you registered over the weekend for our April the 11th event. You've been watching a couple of our live coaching and training. If I may, just before Alfie answers that with his experience, myself personally have been going through a mentorship with Alfie for nearly 2 years, give or take, from a business perspective, but also for the last sort of 6 to 9 months within the property sector. So the best way I would recommend is, of course, joining an Alfie Best Property Growth Academy learning program, which we have available right now, and immersing yourself the same way that I am every single day, learning about all aspects of property. Because Alfie mentioned earlier that different people will have a different flavour for a different channel within the property sector, whether it's resi, commercial, park homes, whether it's vanilla builds, whether it's HMO or serviced accommodation, whatever your flavour and your skill is going to be. But you can only understand truly what you're going to love, whether it's specialised into one field or a mixture like Alfie does. But Alfie focused on one thing first of all, which was his park homes, which is why he's grown so much, because he focused on one thing. But of course, I'm going to be biased and say that it's the Alfie Best Property Growth Academy. But Alfie can answer that more succinctly and more gracefully than I can.
There is no better time to be involved in property in a downturn. And we're going to have that downturn. You know, we have to be realistically. The virus is what we have now. We're talking about saving our businesses, making our businesses trade differently, because we are in unprecedented times. We are not in normal times. So our business, even though I say it must trade normally, we must trade abnormally to make it trade normally. Do things that we wouldn't normally have done. But when it comes down to property and starting in the property, there is no better time than now, because there are going to be some opportunities that come that are going to be just unprecedented without any shadow of a doubt.
Please do keep the questions coming. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've not met Alfie Best before, Alfie is the chairman of Wildcrest Parks and a number of other companies, Varoom, a motorhome company, Alfie Best Property Growth, Kyoto Furniture, Alfie Best Overseas Properties in Barbados, and of course Wildcrest USA, with other interests around Europe. He's listed one as the wealthiest men in the UK, and if you think that Alfie's not going through the same challenges that many of you are facing right now, of course he is. He's running a multi-million-pound business, over 400 staff. So please do keep the questions coming. Every day at 1 p.m. we're going live on Zoom, where we're going to help you. You can register right now by going to Alfie Best Property Growth, alfiebestpropertygrowth.com/coronavirus. And Alfie, if he's got the time every day, even if it's 10 minutes, we'll jump on to give you some free advice to help you through. You're about to say something, Alfie, sorry.
What I was going to say, look, the points for me for this day is this. Do not panic. Number one, in your business, make a cash flow. Number two, make an asset list of everything from your toothbrush down to your shoes and socks and your pants. And that includes for your business and for you personally. And then look at the things that you don't need in that business, the things that you don't need in your personal life. Get them sold. Get all of that stuff put up for sale. Use this as a time to make your business run leaner, fitter, not in challenging times, in unprecedented times. Learn more how to make your business run from a distance, run from isolation, run from social media platforms if you're not running from social media platforms. Even I'm having to learn new skills while this has happened. You know, and when people are saying to me, you're in a much different position, I'm still here today. I was isolating myself over the weekend, but I've still come in. All my team are at home, working from home with the business, but I've made a point of coming in, made a point of isolating myself, staying away from people, but I want to come into my office and show that I'm still the head of this company and show that how much I care about not only the company, but my customers, my residents and contractors. And yes, I've had a number of people ring me up and ask for help. And I've said, I'm already helping you by keeping this business afloat, allowing you to still work and be paid. So this is about you in everything in order and working in unordinary times. This will be over. This is not forever. But remember the people that helped you through it, worked with you through it, and you got yourself through it, as we will together. As a team, this is Team Best. We'll get through this together. I will be here no matter what. All of these events are going to be done continuously until we're through this together.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we had some amazing time with Alfie Best today. He needs to now crack on and get back onto the helm of the business and continue to drive it forward. But please do join us every day at 1 o'clock. We broadcast live on Facebook today because Alfie wanted to get a wider message out there. So go to alfiebestpropertygrowth.com /coronavirus. Free business support. Also with that, every day, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. live on Zoom. You'll get an email address, direct access to ask Alfie any questions, and he truly will support you, and will Alfie Best Property Growth Academy too, to get you through this process. A last question before Alfie jumps off. I promise it's the last one, Governor. Natalie lives in Nat Bailey and Paula Bailey. Yeah. They're columnists magazine. She lives in Mallorca, but she's travelled back to the UK. She's saying she's only got 5 days of clothes with her. But it's made her realise what she actually needs and what she doesn't need in this time. There's a lot of superficial stuff around us, isn't there?
Look, there's a lot of stuff called impulse buying. There's an awful lot of stuff that you would be shocked that we don't need. And one of the things that I've started to help businesses with, even in the last 2 days, that's Sunday and today, is actually preparing for them inventories that they can work out what they don't need within their business, so that they can actually put those on social media and start clearing out the wheat from the chaff within the business.
Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, a massive thanks to Alfie Best.
Have a great day.
Spending some time with us today. Thank you very much to the Facebook. Be strong, stay safe, and let's let's keep focused and find a way through. Be like water. We've got to be like water right now, because every single day it's changing. And remember also, you can do something to help somebody else today, even if it's picking up the phone to ask if they're okay, because kindness is also very, very important in the times of need for those that are less, that are more at risk, that may be alone. So when you jump off the broadcast, look after your businesses, but make sure you reach out to someone and
Stay safe.
Stay safe.
Team best.
Team best. We see you guys soon, Alfie. See you guys.